99.
T-Town choo-choo train. T-Town choo-choo train.
Oh, you gotta love a live show. What's up, everybody? Hometown Terrell, Texas podcast, episode 5. I'm your host, Sergio. We're having some technical difficulties on the Hometown Facebook page live stream, but you can see it on my personal, which I shared that link, and on our YouTube live. But I'm not sure what's going on here. But we're going to plow through this because that's what we do and we're professionals, right? So welcome, everybody. Episode 5. We are in the first day of June. Wow. June 2024. Plowing through the year. Hey, everybody. It's been an interesting week, to say the least, for most of us here in Terrell. So, first off, prayers to everybody. I hope everybody's as close to back to normal as you can be. I know it's a little interesting right now. Some of us aren't quite back to normal, but we're as close as we're going to be. So we can be grateful for that, right? So, there's our music. Let's see here. Adjusting a couple of things. Live show, self-produced. It's great. So, on the show today, I have somebody from the Riter Hulsey Public Library. So, she was on hold. I think I lost her, but I'm going to call her right back. Let's see here. Let's see if she answers. I bet she does answer.
Hello.
Hey, Brianna.
Yes, sir.
There she is. This is Brianna West. She is the Youth Services Librarian at the Hulsey Public Library. That's according to the webpage. Is that your title, or do you have a different title?
That is my official title, as the Youth Services Librarian.
Okay. I'm just making sure. I didn't want to not give you your title, you know?
Of course.
Well, so this episode, we are talking primarily the library. You guys have a whole lot of stuff going on, and me being from here, born and raised, I was raised in the library, and but I don't always know what's going on there. And you guys
right.
you guys are pretty big now, so you have a lot of comings and goings going on.
We really do. So at this point, our service population is about 58,000 people. So we try to come up with essentially daily programs to fit the needs of both what I like to call all the way from the 0-year-olds, so story times and things like that, to keep them engaged and developing, all the way to we have great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents coming to our adult crafting corners and maker spaces and things like that.
I like how you call them 0-year-olds.
Yeah. Our little itty bitties.
The little, that one's even better. The little itty bitties. So, for everybody watching, we've got little footage that we took at the library this week, so you can kind of see what's going on here. They've got all kinds of stuff going on. So, first off, can you give me a little history lesson on the library?
Of course. So I love to talk about the history of the library, especially this year, because we just celebrated our 120th birthday. So Terrell has had a public library for over 120 years. Granted, we've not always been in the same building. So we actually started as the Carnegie Public Library in 1904. And then in 1984, we were deeded the new building where we are at currently, which is 306 North Rockwell Avenue, and we've been there ever since. However, we were originally the Terrell Public Library. It wasn't until 2007 we were renamed after Riter C. Hulsey, who was both the president of the American National Bank in Terrell, but also was a part of our Friends of the Library Board for over 70 years.
Oh, wow.
So I know from what we can see, he is the longest reigning Friends board member ever to have existed in the United States, because 70 years is quite the long tenure to be a part of anything.
Oh, yeah, for anything at all.
So in 2007, we were renamed after him, rightfully so. And so for the past I don't know, 15-ish years, we've been the Riter Hulsey Public Library, carrying on his legacy, his advocacy for literacy and education, and have been working and expanding to continue that mission within Terrell. Over the last couple of years, we've expanded locations from there because the original Riter Hulsey Public Library building is right around 9,000 square feet, which to serve 58,000 people is not quite enough space. And so we house all of our collections, which I partially manage, at the 306 North Rockwall location, which we dubbed the main library on most of our PR and social media and things like that. But then I mainly work out of our Literacy Depot, which is 406 North Rockwall. So we host all of our story times, STEM academies. Our makerspace is located over there. Essentially, it is our hub for programming. We also have our Adult Education Center, which is where we house a percentage of our adult education courses, which includes ESL, GEDs, citizenship, computer literacy, and then other one-off classes that we are under the umbrella of Senior Planet, which include things like Google workshops, Excel spreadsheets, AI, and drone footage, and things like that.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of that operates out of our adult education facility, but we also have amazing partnerships with the TVCC campus to host some of those classes, and the main library as well.
So there's just all kinds of stuff going on there.
Yes, there is. We try and do a lot with little is kind of our motto as a team.
Well, I think you guys have accomplished that part. And it's not...
I'd like to think so.
It's not really little. I mean, I'm looking at some of this footage that we took the other day, and it's pretty... The original library is pretty big. And and then obviously you have the whole other center that doesn't look that big. But when you walk in there, you're like, wow, this thing goes on and on for a while. So,
it really does.
So it's not as, don't sell yourself short, sister. It's not as small as it looks, and you guys have plenty of space for plenty of people.
We try our best with that 58,000 service population because Terrell is a percentage of what we serve. But for instance, Forney does not have a public library, so we also serve a decent percentage of Forney, a decent percentage of individuals in Van Zant. So we do have a lot, but we are constantly working towards bigger and better things.
You know, I didn't know that Forney didn't have a library.
They don't. So in 2020, which is when we acquired our Literacy Depot, they had a partnership with the local high school where they were allowing patrons to check out items. But in 2020, that partnership was done away with. So Forney no longer has a public library. So we have patrons come from Arlington and Dallas and Forney and all over the place just because of the resources we are able to provide.
And you have tons of resources. Just thinking about the programs, you have all these kids programs, but it's not just children's programs. I mean,
no,
like I said, I've seen the GED program, the ESL, English as a second language. Those are things that are just very useful for a lot of people. It's, this town is growing, and you're just providing more stuff, and that's just like the tip of the iceberg.
It really is.
I mean, you guys have, your calendar is pretty full. Like,
it definitely is.
It looks like there's always something going on there. There's always people coming and going. There's always things, activities. I was in there yesterday, and it wasn't a slow day, but it wasn't a busy day, but you could just see all kinds of activity going on. There were people that were like, I think one guy was studying for like a real estate license, and he was back in the corner. And then there were a couple people at the computers doing computer work. There were kids doing, the learning activities for the kids. There was one guy that was just hanging out. He was just like, he had his laptop and he was drinking some coffee and he was just hanging out. There were a couple people, in the new book section on the little couches, just reading. It's kind of cool to just see like all these little pockets of people doing different activities.
It really is. We definitely try to be the community hub. That is in our mission statement. Is our goal is to be a place for everyone. And so just as you said, we provide all kinds of services from printing and faxing, computer assistance and things like that, all the way to we host over 20 programs a month. Over the summer, the youth department alone is hosting over 60 programs between June and July. So we definitely try and stay active within the community, keep a pulse on what do you want to see. For instance, this summer we're adding a coding camp to our summer lineup for 6 to 12-year-olds because it's something we've heard from that demographic. We want to learn how to do X, Y, Z. And so we're always listening. We're always keeping an eye out. We're always trying to facilitate the needs. Another great addition to show that is the addition of our talk box. As you said, there's people who use our location for Zoom calls and doctor's office visits and things like that in a digital way. So now we have a private space for them to facilitate that need where they're not out on the public floor and having to do that in the midst of kids playing on the Lego wall or on our AWE stations or all the other organized chaos that can sometimes come at the library.
So what is that room called again?
So our talk box is a new addition as of, I want to say March of this year.
Mm-hmm.
It is I like to think of it as like a modernized cell phone booth. So it has a table, it has a chair, it has electricity outlets and things like that for people to have conference calls. For instance, a Zoom interview is a perfect place for that. If you need a super quiet spot for an hour or two of intense studying, you can reserve that room through our website, hulseypubliclibrary.org. And that way you can better, again, outside of all the chaos and those private things, you have a place to facilitate that since we don't have designated study rooms and things like that open to the public.
I just thought it was so cool. It's just this room that's silent, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just do what you need to do. I'm like, I'm going to borrow that. I'm going to reserve that to try it out to see if it really is as silent as you say it is.
Of course.
Because if it'll silence me,
I'd love to hear your thoughts.
If it'll silence me, then it really does work. So if you can't hear me blabbering, then it really does work. It reminded me of the cone of silence from the series Get Smart, which I might that's when I first saw it. That's literally what I thought of. Like, it's the cone of silence, but it works as opposed to the cone of silence because that didn't always work on the show. So
no.
So I'm looking at some of these pictures. And you said that you guys archive the Terrell Tribune, the newspaper. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So we house all of the Terrell Tribune archives all the way back from, I don't want to say wrong, but I know we have papers all the way back from the late 1890s. And so, of course, there's parts that are spotty, but we do our best to house those and keep those on. It's called microfilm, which of course for my generation is a little bit outside of me, but I know there's some viewers who may be super familiar with the technology. But we keep it all on microfilm, and then from about 2007 on, we have the physical newspapers that patrons can view and things like that.
And you had I got to see the microfilm machine, and I was like, that's pretty cool. That's not something that you see every day. That was technology back then. That was how you stored things like that. And so I think it's cool to have stuff like that, and to be able to preserve history, especially history that far back.
Right. We are very honored to be able to house that history, to continue to share that history, to help connect the community to that history. We have people coming in looking for genealogy information on relatives who were X, Y, and Z and featured in this newspaper. We love being able to help with the Terrell High School Hall of Fame. We have people come in and looking up their old newspaper clippings from when they were in part of TISD's football team and things like that. So it's a super beneficial, unique, and really, it's, again, an honoring thing to be able to continue that history and legacy of Terrell.
Yeah, and we have plenty of legacy, right? Plenty of history.
We do.
Um, so we've got what's called the summer reading program. What?
Yes.
So what started that?
So the summer reading program has had a lot of iterations over the years. This is our 16th annual summer reading activities fair and summer reading kickoff. So it started as a way to connect the community with what resources are happening in Terrell over the summer for you and your kiddos. And so the summer reading program used to be much, much smaller. So I believe when I was talking about the history of it with our director, Rebecca Anderson, she was mentioning how there used to only be 25 spots available for kids to participate in during our summer reading program. Now we're looking at about 450 were registered last year, and our goal is about 500, 550 for this year.
Oh, wow.
So we already have 250 people pre-registered. So the challenge, the program, it hasn't even started, but pre-registration's been available, and you can still pre-register until the 3rd. And we already have 250 people pre-registered.
So
it started. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So it started as a way to keep kids reading, keep kids learning. There's something called the summer slide, which happens over the 2 months, 3 months that kids are out of school. And there has been a lot of research done with a noticeable difference seen in the kids who continue reading, continue educational efforts over the summer versus those who don't. And so there's something called the summer slide where they slide back almost 1 or 2 whole grade levels worth of reading just because they aren't actively reading over the summer. And so for that reason, a lot of public libraries host summer reading programs, summer reading challenges to incentivize and encourage children and adults alike to continue reading, to continue the pursuit of education, and to see the fun in it. Because it isn't all reading. We also host and slowly have been adapting over the years things like our art academy, coding camps. Terrific Tuesdays are huge. But for the activities fair itself, it's a great way to, A, learn what your library is doing over the summer. Again, we have 60 plus programs, but what are those programs? We have 30 plus community vendors that are coming out to this year's activities fair. So you get to connect with them. What are they doing in your community? What are they doing to promote literacy, education, and things like that? How can you connect with them over the summer? Because we have, for instance, the City Terrell Pool that will be out, and they're talking about the different classes and things they're offering. TISD and what different programs do they have over the summer? Because just because school's out doesn't mean that they're still not offering things.
Oh, no, they're definitely offering things.
Connected. Yes.
So it's on June 4th, right? It's Tuesday.
Correct. It is Tuesday, June 4th. From 5 to 7 p.m. We will have bounce houses, food trucks, the community vendors, a live bubble show at 5:30 p.m. Registration will be available to register to be a part of our summer reading challenge and a part of our coding camp, and a lot of other fun stuff, games, music. It's just going to be a lot of fun.
So June 4th, on the last episode, I was telling everybody that June 4th seems like it's the official kickoff of summer for Terrell, because obviously you guys are doing your kickoff. The pool, I don't know if the pool's still going to open on the 4th. I thought I read somewhere that they had some damage from the storm, but they were supposed to open on the 4th. Maybe they still will. Stagecoach Cinema, they start their summer movie program for the kids on the 4th. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff going on June 4th. That makes me think now Terrell's really in the swing of things, and and thank God, because last week was just like this limbo week. And we just it felt every bit of in being in limbo. It was just weird altogether. So it's good to see we have stuff to look forward to right around the corner, literally right around the corner in a couple days.
Yes, we are super excited to kick off the summer, to have people come out, be involved, and find a way to connect. There's something for everyone, and we do our best to, again, the little itty bitties all the way to the great grandparents that come. And so there's a lot just around the corner for the library.
So I got a few more questions for you.
Yes, sir.
how do you obtain a library card, and what are the benefits?
Yes. So anyone in the state of Texas can have a Hulsey public or a Riter Hulsey public library card. So all we need to see is a Texas driver's license or proof of ID, photo ID. And then we can, once we have proof that you're a Texas resident or water bill or something like that, then we are able to sign you up for that library card. There are so many benefits to having a library card. So, of course, you get access to all of our physical collections, the picture books, chapter books, all that fun stuff. You get access, in addition to things like our hotspots, our literacy kits, which have different learning manipulatives and things like that inside of them. You get access to all of our online resources. So, for instance, the library has over 200,000 digital resources patrons can check out, from ebooks and e-magazines, audiobooks, and all different kinds of things on a digital platform, meaning you can access it anywhere, anytime.
I didn't know that.
Yes, it's super. We have two different online digital libraries. We have Libby and CloudLink Library, and they both are amazing collections. We're part of consortiums to continue expanding the resources we can have open. We also have Mango Languages, which is a free language learning app to library patrons. You can learn any language, all the way from like Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, all the way to pirate.
Did you say pirate?
Pirate, yes, pirate is an actual language you can, or I would more call like slang language, you can learn through Mango Languages for free with your public library card.
That's awesome.
We also have Freegal Music, which is a free music streaming app like Spotify or Pandora. Ad-free, you can download up to 5 songs a week using your library card, and it is, again, a completely free resource we offer to our library patrons.
So I'm going to apologize to my wife in advance. Honey, if you hear me talking pirate around the house, that's because I learned this today. I learned that there's a language to learn. I didn't even think of that. But I want to learn pirate.
Amazing. I know. We as a staff will go in and of course, we want to know how to use these apps to help patrons. So there's an official Talk Like a Pirate Day where you will hear librarians just breaking out in like args and like swashbuckling whatever. And we always have a lot of fun. So if you hear staff members talking pirate, it's just Talk Like a Pirate Day. Don't worry about it.
So I think that kind of segues to the next thing. What's your favorite activity at the library?
That is an extremely hard question for me to answer because we have so many amazing ones. We offer everything from equine therapy, where we have horses come out in partnership with Aisling's Equine Therapy so that patrons can get that one-on-one experience, to a Read to a Dog program, which is a certified therapy dog comes and you get to read to her. Her name is Joy. She's this great, giant, big black Newfoundland, and she is amazing. But for me as a person, I definitely love the story times, getting to see those young minds learn something new. We always have great conversations during it. We always get to explore new things. For instance, yesterday we hosted our Camp Wiggleworm story time for 0 to 2-year-olds, and we had littles get to play with bubbles for the first time ever in our story time. So it's just always this amazing experience for me as a person to get to continue the education, continue the experiences, things that we get to encourage and motivate. And perhaps you wouldn't have a chance to pet a horse or read to a dog with certified therapy training, or play with bubbles, because how do you initiate that with your early developing toddlers? But we get to explore all those things and more at the library, and that's just so amazing to me and what I love so much about working at the library.
Okay, so obviously you work at a library. You must read, I would assume.
Most days I do.
So do you have a favorite book or a favorite series?
This is like the worst question you can ask any book lover, because they're all my favorite for a different reason. But when I'm asked this question, I typically go with one that is called, let me see if I hate butchering the names of books, but it's called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. And it is a beautiful book for its illustrations, but it also has such a powerful message for us as adults, especially with all the things that we face nowadays. And so it's just a great message, beautiful, beautiful book. And so it's one that I would heavily recommend. I don't think you'll ever get anything negative from it. So I definitely recommend that one.
Okay. So I'm looking at these pictures again. I've got them scrolling through while we're discussing this. What is the seed library? You see there's a thing called the seed library. What is that?
Yes, I love our seed library. So our seed library is relatively new. It's been around for about 3 years. You, as a patron of the library, can get a seed library card, which allows you to, air quotes, check out seeds from our seed library. So these are pre-packaged seeds that you get to take home. You're not required to return them because obviously you're planting them in the ground and growing something new. But we have everything from flowers to herbs and vegetables and things like that that you can take home, plant. And then the goal is that it starts to kind of rebirth itself and you can harvest the seeds, bring them back, and we continue to grow the collection. So patrons can check out up to 10 different seeds each growing season each year. And then we love to see the pictures of the seeds that have turned into gardens, the kids that are getting science experiment opportunities for the first time. And then we're also partnered with the Terrell Garden Club and also the Master Gardeners of Kaufman County. And they help us facilitate the seed garden, add to it, gardening classes and things like that all throughout the year as well.
So it's a whole thing. It's not just here's some seeds, go have fun. Like you can really learn the intricacies and the art of gardening.
Yes, you can. Our last session, we just learned about mushrooms, but we learned from everything about beekeeping to cactuses and all kinds of really neat things in the classes. And then again, you can go check out the seeds and try your hand at it as long as you're in the right growing season as soon as you get the class if you want.
And I think that's the running theme that I'm seeing here and that I'm hearing is that you guys aren't just scratching the surface on topics you guys are like really digging into like the intricacies of it. You guys have a podcasting booth. Like, yes. It's not just here's how to podcast. It's like, no, really, this is how you podcast. You guys have is it a laser engraver I'm looking at?
Correct. So part of our maker space has a podcasting booth, a laser engraver, a 3D printer, a 3D pen. We have a die cut machine, a button maker, a sewing machine, and then a whole STEM cart, which has over 20 activities that include everything from how do magnets work and microscopes to robots and things like that as a part of it.
So it's not just a how-to. It's not just like here, I'm going to show you how to do it. It's like, here, touch it, work it, mold it, like learn how it really works. You're not just looking at me doing it. You're actually getting to do hands-on experience. I think that's probably the coolest thing of seeing all these activities is that you guys are very hands-on and you're very encouraging to be hands-on.
Yes.
So that. Oh, go ahead.
So we love to nurture that creativity, continued exploration, and no one is too old to learn something new. And so anytime that we get to help facilitate that continued connection to what is around you, what is around the corner, to future things, past things, we love to help enable that experience and to, again, foster that creativity within the community.
And you guys have done a very good job at it over the years, and you continue to do it. So,
well, thank you.
One last question, and this is one of those broad answers, I'm sure. What do you enjoy the most about your job?
Kind of like the running theme. I so greatly enjoy getting to work with the people, to getting to connect them to resources. I like to call the public library, the bridge. We get to connect people that may not have an opportunity to countless opportunities. We may be able to help get someone the computer literacy skills to get the job that they need and want. So we get to be this incredible bridge from the have-nots to the haves. And so I never know what I'm going to do at the library that day. I never know who I'm going to interact with, what experience I'm going to have, but I have almost never walked away without having positively impacted someone's life and seen that continue to grow, continue to foster. We have people who have written a resume on our computers come back and say, I got the job with the resume I wrote on your computers. We have littles that were in story time years and years ago, now a part of my summer reading volunteer group, who talk about how much those story times were a key point of their childhood, and now they get to help out with those story times and the excitement. And so the people is what I love most. We're a public facility. We are always open to the public. And so getting those unique experiences that you don't get anywhere else is what I love most about my job.
That's so awesome. I mean, I'm just like blown away. I'm blown away with all the information that you get out of the library. I haven't been in a while, many years.
Uh-huh.
So when I was going, and I was a young kid, and I would go to the library during the summer. And I'm older than you probably, and this is before summer reading programs. It's just like I like to go get books. Me and my buddy, we'd like to go ride our bikes and go get books. But that was the extent of it. There was nobody in the library. Everything was still, this was in the late 80s, early 90s. Everything was way different back then. So it's cool to see that there's so much more involved, and that you see so many people, different demographics, different ages, everything. That's not what I saw when I was younger. It was just a handful of people in the library coming and going here and there. But it was more like, hey, I need this. Now this is more of a want, because you have so much technology. Now it's like a want to learn more.
Yes.
I think that's really cool. Brianna, do you have anything else you'd like to say before we go?
Well, I hope that everyone can get something from this and know that you are always more than welcome at Hulsey Public Library or any other public library near you. We hope to see you at our summer reading activities fair and kickoff on June 4th from 5 to 7 p.m. If you can't make it to that, we hope you register for our summer reading challenge. We'll be giving away all kinds of prizes and goodies, everything from rodeo tickets and tickets to Splash Kingdom for adults. We're giving away tumblers and sunglasses and all kinds of other stuff. So there's something for everyone at the library. If you can't meet us there physically, we have a lot of digital resources that you can tap into and connect with. And I hope to see you and talk to you all soon.
You can learn to speak pirate.
You can learn to speak pirate.
You had me at learn to speak pirate. So I'm going to end it with that. Hey, Brianna, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for giving me the time, and I'm glad we could talk about this. And you guys got a lot of big stuff going. You guys,
yes, we do.
Continuously growing, continuously adding to the schedule. So thank you so much for making time for me. That's all I got for you guys for Brianna. So thank you, Brianna. We will talk soon, and I'm going to figure out how to sign up to learn how to speak pirate.
Awesome. We'll talk to you and pirate very soon.
Thank you, dear. Well, that was nice. That was Brianna West. She's the Youth Services Librarian at Hulsey Public Library. So, as you can see, there's all kinds of cool activities going on this summer there. It all starts on June 4th with the summer kickoff and activities fair. Go check them out. I got to go through there and record this footage that I'm playing, and it was cool to see all the different things. Again, I'm from here. I was born in the early 80s, so I was going to the library, riding my bike in like the late 80s, early 90s, and back then it was just like library. There was little stuff here for the kids, like they do some story time for the kids, but it was mainly just library. There wasn't a lot of activities. This was still very much in the infancy stage of all that. Now, obviously, over the years, it has expanded. It's expanded to where they have additional buildings to where they can provide all these cool services. And a lot of these services are things that I didn't know existed, and I'm from here. So I can't stress enough, like, it's a really good experience. especially if you have kids that are creative and they want to learn how to create more. In particular, like content creation. Like I said, they have a whole podcasting setup now. They have the die cut machine, engraving, laser engraving, button maker, sewing machines, like all kinds of stuff. And what they're telling me they want to do in the future is they want to do like life skills. So they want to be able to show you like how to cook, like very basic items. So like things that we kind of have shied away from over the years as a society, I guess. I think it's cool to have that, to, you know, to be able to say, hey, this is how you make eggs. This is how you cook ramen. This is how you do this. Not just in the microwave. Like this is how you cook it on the stove. So I think it's cool to learn like all these little life skills, how to sew a button, stuff like that. Stuff your mom may have taught you, or stuff my mom may have taught me many years ago, you know, that maybe is just kind of a lost art now. So it's really cool. I was really glad I got to explore the library and the literacy depot. Both are like full. Like I cannot stress enough. They were just packed full of stuff, tons of activity, tons of stuff. So I'm really glad I got to participate in that. I think that's it, man. We've had an interesting week. The week is over. We're in the weekend. You know, better weather is ahead for us. God bless you guys. We've had as a community, we've had an interesting week, but people have stuck together. People have helped each other out. I think that's probably the coolest thing again about living in these small towns is that we all get impacted. You know, it's such a small area that, you know, I get impacted the same way as the guy 7-8 streets down the way gets impacted. You know, so we're all in this together. We all feel it together. We all grow with it. So that's the cool thing about seeing all the stuff that's happened this week is you see people coming together. You see neighbors helping each other out, people helping people. You know, that's what Tiger Pride's about, I think. So God bless you guys. We're going to get through all this like we always have, and we'll get bigger and better, faster, stronger. So I think that's going to wrap it up. I do want to thank Waste Space Audio, as always, for the music. Young Ideas Dish, hit them up for your dish, Google products, cellular needs. That's going to wrap up episode 5. That's it, man. I appreciate you guys watching. We're going to get these technical things fixed for you for the next episode. Talk to you later.